He wept because he saw her pain. He saw those around him crying. Knowing and letting you know that I feel your pain. I feel your sorrows. Because he saw how sorry and how hurt they were by them losing their loved one and by everybody there. And it's funny because people say he's crying because his friend is died. Look how much he loves him. And he was doing that for everyone else because death was not a thing to him. They think, oh, he has to be for the person around him. He said, no, I have sorrow for those who are in pain. So it's showing you that we have other saints of God who lose loved ones, to have compassion for them. To have compassion to care for them. Even if the person who died was a saint. We're reminding them, but at the same time, we still have compassion for them and grace. It won't be hard for them, like, you know what, yeah, I mean, come on now. Woo, come on, they with Jesus, why are you crying? No. Your heart still hurts because they're not there with you. You have that temporary separation. And so he looked to the Father, he said, Lord, I do this, for they will know that you sent me. And what did he do at that point? He spoke out loud. Lazarus, come forth. He said, come forth. And I love it because he had to speak Lazarus' name, because if he said, just come forth, everybody would have got up. So he said, Lazarus, come forth. And at that point, before he told him to remove the rock, and Lazarus came walking out mummified, all wrapped up, and they terrified. But Jesus was showing that he said, set him free. So I love it because what he does, after you give your life to him, he sets you free from death. He sets you free from death. He unwraps all the mess that you were in that was keeping you bound. All the stuff you had wrapped around you to try to keep the stink away from people seeing who you really are. But guess what? The funk was too much. So we wrap ourselves up in clothes and cologne and jobs and cars and spouses or girls or whatever we try to find, our name and everything else, trying to cover up all the death around us and in us. But guess what? We still stink before God. So all that cannot change our odor and our smell before God, because we're still dead men walking around. So at that point, he has to speak life into us. And when he speaks life into us, we get enwrapped by him. We get enwrapped by his love. And then we start to live, and we start to smell good again. So he's good, saints. Amen? So I get to the rest of the lesson now. But I thank God for what the Spirit gives, even at the beginning, for all of you. Well, I never know where he's going to go each week, but I know that he's in control. For us to rest in him. So today, we're going to go through some scriptures, but everything we're speaking of is about your freedom in Christ. And we read from Romans 6 and 15. We hit a little bit last week, but this is the intro to remind us to go into this week. So it's Romans 6 and 15 we'll be starting at. And speaking on how, we'll just read through a part of this. It's talking about how, what therefore shall we sin because we are not under the written law? And he's saying this, and he's going to let us know that how we've been made free from sin because you become the servants of righteousness. But I love it because this verse and these scriptures correlate. Romans 6 and 15 through 19 with Romans 6 and 1 through 2. And the reason why it correlates with it, because he's letting you know, he's saying, what? Shall we therefore sin because we are under the written law? God forbid. And what I was saying before, how the Holy Spirit broke it down, he said, you understand that when my Spirit is in you, it won't let you just live in sin. You'll be uncomfortable in your sin. That my Holy Spirit will convict you of your sin. Things that's supposed to be in line with the Father that you're doing out of order. So it lets you know that that's out of order with me. I love it. It chastises you. That it's a chastisement. It's not just in your head. It's in your spirit now. When you do it, that you just, And so that's what happens. So he let you know in verses 1 and 2, he said, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? He said, how shall you who have died to sin? That means since you're dead to sin, sin cannot control you anymore. How can something that's dead control you? Remember how gave the story of Harambe, the big gorilla that had the little kids slinging him around. Harambe, the 2,000-pound gorilla, was in control of the kid. The kid couldn't do anything about it. But once Harambe was shot and killed, no matter how strong that gorilla was and how big it was, the silverback, it had no control over the kid. The only way that gorilla could still have control over the kid is if the kid decided to go lay under the gorilla's arm. He decided to get a rope and connect himself to the gorilla. And now the gorilla, while he's trying to move, is pulling him and holding him because he's decided he wants to be connected to it.
Amen.
He decided that he wants to lay under it. But just simple as he could have disconnected or cut the rope, he could be freed from that 2,000-pound dead, stinking gorilla. So he said, how can you be living something that you're dead to? That's why now you understand. Shall we continue to sin that grace may abound? God forbid it. It's not possible anymore. It's not possible anymore because it's dead. So sin can't continue to rule and reign over you. That's why it says later in the verse, therefore sin shall not reign in your mortal body. It cannot reign in your mortal body because it's been destroyed. So he says, therefore, now we live unto God. And so that's why he says, how can we live to something that we are dead to? And now you understand how it breaks down. It's in this verse, it says, for sin shall not have dominion, rulership over you. In verse 14, for you're not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we're not under the law, but under grace? God forbid. Now you see how the scriptures come together. No, you're not. And that's why I like the other version better with this one, Aramaic. To whom you yield your service to obey, his service to whom you are to obey, whether sin unto death or obedience unto righteousness. What's letting you know at this point is to give you the breakdown. When you were in sin, you were a servant of sin. And you became obedient to that. And so you were servants unto death. But you became obedient unto righteousness when you followed Jesus Christ. That's why the next verse says, but thanks be to God that you were, past tense, the servants of sin. But you have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was given to you. What was the form of doctrine? Jesus Christ is the way. Jesus Christ has died for your sin. Jesus Christ has conquered death, hell, and the grave for you. Jesus Christ has met the demands of the law, so you are now dead to the law, and sin has no more control. And it cannot rule you anymore. Are y'all getting the saints?
Yeah.
Like I said before, the easy way to get it is that how can I get a ticket for speeding if there's no speed limit on the street? If there's no speed limit, I can't get a ticket for speed. So how can I be called sinful when I don't have a law over me to call me sinful? There's no law in place for those who are under Jesus Christ now. Because you're no longer under the law, you're no longer married to the law, you're married to Jesus Christ. So now you've been made free from the law that you may serve Jesus Christ. So why? Because under the law, that means you become a servant unto death. We read that last week. Under Christ, you become a servant unto righteousness. Give y'all a little bit more. Give y'all a little bit more. I know this could be a lot to take in sometime, but it gets hard because the first thing you start saying in your spirit automatically is, well, that mean I can just live in sin then? Isn't that the first thing the enemy always brings, your flesh always brings? Well, so that mean I can live to sin then? And we just explain how God said, God forbid. The Spirit of God is living in you now. It's working in you to will and to do with my good pleasure. Then now, it says, well, we have no law in place. And it says, no. Remember, you got the Spirit of the law written on your heart and in your mind now. So now you know the things that's in line and out of order with God to a deeper level than what the law can give. Why the law says just don't commit adultery? The Spirit of the law lives in you now, says don't even look with lust. The law doesn't say nothing about don't listen to Tupac. It doesn't say that. But the Spirit of the law lets you know, abstain from any appearance of evil. The Spirit of the law lets you know that those things spoken in there are death, so don't put that inside your spirit. it takes you to a deeper level of now I got to protect my spirit man now. So I don't let those things get in my spirit. Because I understand what those things do. So I don't sit there and listen to music that's going to sit there and have you thinking about lust all day. That's going to have you thinking about how lonely I am and I'm going down, down, down. That's going to have you thinking about all type of sexual things all day in my mind, or how I just want money and cars, everything you like, because those things are dead in the end. I can't take none of those things with me. That's a waste of my time. It can't give me life. Why? Because most of us have chased it before it got it, and at the end of it, it didn't fulfill us. That's why we got to keep trying to get more and more and more, but yet guess what? It never does it. So he's like, those things just produce fruit unto death, because those things you get don't never complete you. They keep dying. That's why you need more. So now we're learning. Oh, okay, Lord. And the Spirit of God starts teaching God at a deeper level. Now we'll give you the understanding of the mind of God. Why? Because He renews the spirit of your mind. And now you will have the mind of Christ Jesus. Everything I'm saying is spiritual. And every thought, and every vain imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God shall be captivity. It will be cast down, brought into captivity. Why? Because the Spirit of God is in you, working in you. Now, if somebody's saying, well, none of those things are happening to me, well, that's when you got to say, Lord, have I truly made that commitment? I'm not talking about you having struggles. That actually is part of showing that you're His, because you're fighting now. But beforehand, you didn't care about living in sin. You didn't care about what you did wrong to people. You didn't care about lying. I didn't care about cursing you out. I didn't care about doing something dirty to you to take care of myself. I might have felt a little guilt, but oh well. I kept moving. But now when I do it, something hits me in my heart and in my chest. There's all in here where it's like, nah, I can't do that anymore. I'm sorry, man. I can't. That's showing the Spirit of God working in you. That's showing, like I always tell people, if the Spirit of God wrote the law of God, why would the Spirit of God come to live in you to come against things that God said are out of order? When it comes to the Big Ten, I ain't talking about all the 600 that the Jews came up with, the Big Ten. There should be no other gods before me. If the Spirit of God is in you, you think He's going to put another God before you? No. You should not worship an idol. So you think if the Spirit of God is in you, it's going to have you push you to worship an idol. No, it pushes you closer to God to make Him number one. It says you should not dishonor your parents. If the Spirit of God is in you, you think it's going to push you to dishonor your parents when Jesus said, love others the way I loved you? Come on now. I love it because somebody said, well, it says that you should keep the Sabbath day. Exactly. Jesus Christ is our Sabbath day. He's the Lord of the Sabbath. So now our rest is no longer the day, it's in Him. Come unto me all so I can give you rest. Everybody comes to me that's weary, that's heavy burden, that's laden, come unto me so I can give you rest. Because I'm lowly and meek. And then come and learn of me so I can give rest into your souls. That's why Jesus said, don't you know I'm the Lord of the Sabbath? Now your rest is no longer in the day, your rest is in Him every day. You no longer live to keep one day holy, now you live to Him when you walk every day holy. It pushes you to a higher level. And all the other five are just about how you should treat your fellow man. Jesus finished that all. He said, love others the way I love you. All other five are met. You won't steal from others. You won't kill others. You won't be coveting others. You won't lie to others. And guess what? You won't be committing adultery with others. Do y'all see? The Spirit of the Lord answers the law. That's why Paul said, well, no, reject it. No, we fulfilled it. Y'all got to get what's happening, man. He said we fulfill it because we take it to a higher standard than what you can present. Because this is what the Spirit of the law is. That lives in you, the Spirit of life and grace and truth that's inside you now. This is what you have inside you. Whew, He's good, man. That's why in Galatians 2:19, we're going to read a little bit of this right here. I wrote down the Aramaic version, so it'll be a little different from y'all in certain parts, but it gives it deeper. In Galatians 2:19 through 21. That's when Paul says, I, through the written law, am dead to the written law. Because remember, the commandments was written. That's what it means, written law. He says, and I have been crucified with the Messiah. That's Jesus Christ. And from then on, myself have not been living. He says, so the day I was crucified with the Messiah, I became dead. I have not been living. But the Messiah is living in me. So how am I alive now? Because the Messiah is living in me. And this life that I now live in the flesh, or this life we walk around and we live in now in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God. So I live that life now by Him being aside. Remember, He says, I'm the author and finisher of your faith. I'm in you. The things I have started in you, I will complete. And so now you know, I live this life now walking with my eyes on Him and everything He has said and everything He has done. And that's how you walk in freedom. Because now we look at the fact He says, I have made you righteous. So now I walk a life knowing that I'm righteous before God. I have made you holy. Now I walk a life knowing I'm holy before God because He made me holy. That's why He says, I have sanctified you. Sanctified means holy. I have made you sons and daughters. Now I walk this life knowing I'm a son and daughter of God because of Christ. I have made you kings. I have made you a ruler to rule for me and give my ordinance to the world and others around me. They may know what is the rulership of the king on this earth. Like I said, a king, how it has his other children to rule for him as kings, is that the king, as he's conquered more territories like Alexander the Great did, it wasn't his children, it was his generals. As he conquered more territories, he'll leave his generals and other territories to rule for him. He'll leave one in Egypt, as he did, left one in India, left one in Syria. He left them over there to rule as kings in those areas. So Alexander the Great became a king over other kings. He became a lord, a ruler over other lords. So what the king does as his children, as he conquered more territories, he'll send his sons out or his daughters to rule those territories for him as the king or queen over their territory for the king. So now he become a king over other kings, a lord over other lords. That's why Jesus Christ is called the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Because God made earth and said, I have given earth to man. Genesis 1:26. I have given man dominion over the whole earth. Over every creeping thing, over all birds, over all animals. I have given you dominion over all the earth. He made us to be kings. So when we fell away from God, we became kings with no territory anymore. I love because Lord of the Rings had it. When old boy was supposed to be the king, but he was not in the right place. So you cannot rule the way he's supposed to rule. But when he's appointed back in place, he gained his territory back. So when it came to us, we lost our dominionship. And we gave it over to Satan. That's why he became the little God. They call it the little G, the God of this world. The principality powers of this world. And Jesus took the keys of the kingdom that He has given back to men. Those who follow Him, He has given it back to those. For those, when He took it back from Satan, what man gave to Satan, He took it back and gave it back to man. For those who come in and say, here you go. Now you have the authority on the earth again to cast out demons, heal the sick, raise the dead, bring life back to people. To proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is the authority you have been given now. This is what Christ is telling us we're supposed to be walking in. And we do all that because all of that is fueled by His love. His love being inside of us now. Everything we do is fueled by His love. Why do I tell others about Jesus Christ? Because I have too much love in me now because I want to see no one go to hell. Because I want them to be saved also. Why do I have inside me to go heal someone who's sick? Because I don't want to see them sick because I see how they're hurting now. Why do I have it inside me? I want to go speak to someone who has blind eyes because I want them to see again, to see the beauty of the world. And also, number one, to know the power of Jesus Christ. Why do I want to go cast out a demon when I know someone is dealing with demons and spirits inside of them? Because I don't want them to be controlled by something like that anymore. Instead, I want them to have authority over them like I do and know Jesus Christ. So I come and I speak. Why do I give myself to others so they can know the love of God? Because I want them to know how good His love is. Why do I continue to give myself in marriage? Because I want them to know the love of God the way He loves me. You might have messed up with me 1,000 times, but God, I messed up with Him 1,000 times. And He continues to love me and love me. Matter of fact, gave Himself for me before I could do anything. He said, how did He show His love towards us? He showed His love towards us, but He commended His love yet towards us that while we were in sin, He gave Himself. He said, while you were in your sin, my enemies, I gave myself for you. To the enemy. I let myself be spit on, beat on. I let myself be mocked. They put a crown of thorns in my head. It wasn't little thorns we see in the movie. No. It was thorns that ripped through his flesh. I was beat with the cat of nine tails. What is that? That's a whip that has claws on the end. It's old bones on the end that's meant to rip your flesh out. All these things that was happening to him. Being punched in the face, beard ripped. Well, you know how hard it is when you get one little hair pulled out. I'm shaking like, come on now. Women had to go through for eyeballs being plucked out. No, they took his beard and they ripped it out with their hands. And then he's up there being mocked. And he has the power to destroy everyone with one word from his mouth. And what does he present to his enemies? Grace and love. Father, forgive them, because they know not what they're doing. Wow. Now you see why he says, love others the way I loved you, not the way you feel they should be loved. Not your love standard, because your love standard is nowhere near mine. It's a joke. It is a pure joke. Well, I feel that they did, so I feel I should have. No, it doesn't add up. That's why his standard always has to be your last standard. Because if your standard is a standard, it's always going to fall low, it's going to mess everything up. Well, Lord, I'm not going to talk to them today. You know how I saw they treat me at work? It's not about you. It's not about you. Hold your hand. I ain't holding your hands. It's not about you. You're supposed to blow their mind with your love, and love is self-sacrificing. It's giving. Amen. But what if they're not? It's not about what they're doing for you. It's about what you do unto God. That's what it's about. That's what love is. That's why we can have our brothers and sisters overseas, which we're not going through nothing they're going through. They're being murdered, finding their fathers dead and family members dead, and going out preaching the gospel to these people the next day. These same people that bring in the gospel of Jesus Christ, knowing they may be stoned and killed at that moment, knowing they just came and burned down their whole church. And knowing it, because they're not hiding like, let's do tonight, fellas. No, they're coming to it a day, trying to hope to find them in it so they can murder them. But yet the people run out and escape many times, and they'll burn the church down. And they'll burn some of them alive in the church. And these same ones that have the church burned down will go and preach the gospel to these same people. That's a love not of this world. That is not something the law demands we do. You ever noticed that the law doesn't demand that? But the Spirit of God living in us pushes us to do it. It pushes us to do it. You say, man, I am not there. That's all right, let him keep working in you. As you continue to surrender, that's the key. Surrender to his will, working in you. He'll continue to move in you. Amen. And as you see others who are more surrendered to his will, don't be upset at them. Man, I see they doing, woo, man, how you make it work? You gotta surrender. Yes?
Some people have a hard time understanding why God would allow that to happen. So what if we like being burned alive in the church or something like that? Can you explain that?
Thank you for the question. She said the question was statement basically. That someone will have a hard time understanding why would God let his be burned alive in the church? Why would he let him be beheaded? Why would he let this occur? Well, it's two things that we need to understand. First off, God don't look at death like we look at death. We look at death as the end. Remember when Jesus said they're just asleep. So remember Jesus said, my people don't even see death. He said, you don't even taste it. And he said, he let us know, first of all, we'll be killed for his name's sake. He said, so this is going to happen because you're mine. In our country, we really don't deal with it. People try to kill us through words of mouth, reputation, for his name's sake. In other countries, it's for his name's sake. But at the same time, why these people come at you is because you're a threat to the kingdom of Satan. We have to understand, that's why the whole thing about us living in the unseen. This is a spiritual warfare going on. I love it because what pastors say overseas, that's why I tell you it's good to watch certain movies, so you know I'm not just saying it, like Furious Love on Netflix and those different ones. They let you know, they say, you gotta understand, they say, when you're born into spiritual warfare. Because they're seeing spirits move overseas. It's regular to them in third world countries. They know about demonic spirits. That's why it's so easy for them to accept. There's a Holy Spirit of God come live in you. See, we're in a society, we got TVs, cars, we got Facebook, got a phone. So we're so disconnected from what's happening in the unseen realm because all we do is move on to the seen realm. Overseas, in those certain countries, they don't have all that. So they look for those things for life. And so now you go and the witch doctor is the only one who you know that has the power to help children get better, but how they do, they release spirits into them. So when these evangelists go overseas, They see these children and they say, yes, when did this happen? When my child was about 3, they were real sick. I took them to the witch doctor because that's all they know. Like us, we had a witch doctor. We're like, oh, heck no. Why? Because our nation was built to be a nation that followed Christ. Not that they always did it right, but we heard about witches and warlocks and all those things, so we know automatically, oh no, you stay away from that. In those countries, those people are looked at as the doctors. They're looked at as the great people. But then they take these children, these people, and these children live, but these children get worse. So they asked him, when did this happen? Well, I took him to the local witch doctor, and he did an incantation, did all stuff over him, and my child recovered from his sickness, but ever since then, his mind has been gone. And so now, these evangelists overseas, all these people get saved now. There's over there now, they have to come, they have to release these, cast these demons out of them. And I love it because, I don't know if that was Furious Love or the other one, he said that he went, I talked about it a little bit before. He said he went overseas, he said, I went there to videotape what was going on. He said, so the past overseas, he said, I went there, and I talked about it once before. He said it was a tent in the back. He said, I figured it was a tent where people get too hot, get dehydrated. Because, we think about America, and they're going to be outside. They over at that point, they were African. And so we think about America, so he said he figured that was a cool-off tent. He said, so the guy gets up and preaches the gospel. He said he gets the altar call, and you talk the field was packed with thousands of people. So they way out just to open, and people just come because they want to know the gospel so bad. And he preaches about Jesus, Yeshua. And he gets the altar call. And what do they see? They see people come running to the front wanting to give their lives to Christ. And here we say, well, we give it the whole thing, got the music in the background, all these different things, try to get somebody to say, come on, y'all, get up in 15 minutes, and God love, and we try to go over there, they say, so anyone who wants Jesus Christ, come forward. And they're coming. Because over here, we're like, well, if I give up Christ, I can't probably hit the club then. Ooh, what about the girl? What about that? I gotta give. So we think about all the stuff we feel like we gotta give up. Trust me, I know, because I went through it too when I was sitting back at church saying, well, Lord, I gotta give up this. I want to give up that. This, but that failed me. That didn't work. So, I know about that. So they came to the front, and thousands gave their lives to Christ. So the guy who's videotaping it, because he does documentaries, he says, so at this point, I'm expecting to see, just joyous celebration of people praising God. He said, oh no. What I saw next freaked me out. And you got bodies on the floor everywhere. And people screaming and shaking and rolling. And they're like, oh my. And he said, oh, now I discovered what that tent is for. He says, it's a tent to cast out demons. They go back there, there's people laid out everywhere. All these demons, and they going back and they casting them off. And it was like, wow. He said, so I'm inside the tent watching it with the videotape. He said, but it was so much because you could feel the fight in the spirit realm happening. He said, so I'm like, I gotta get out this tent. He said, I go outside and there's bodies everywhere. He said, outside was no better because they're out there and they're speaking, cast out demons. He said, I never. She said, no, it ain't like America. He said, I never saw nothing like that in my life. He said, and the pastors over there say, we got to understand, when you're born in this world, you're born in the spiritual warfare. And the one thing the enemy does in America is he blinds you from the warfare. He blinds you from it. And that's why we go to different things in Hinduism, and they have over almost 1,000+ gods they worship. And you're inviting all these different demon gods to come live inside you. And for the ones who want to get deep inside of it, what they have to do, they actually have to go to the forest, cut themselves wide open. These are the ones who want to get deep inside of it and go in a cave, and you're going to speak these words and invite all of them to come live inside you. These are the ones who, witch doctors who run it all, who have the powers, do. And they come back and they boast about how they have powers now to control the animals and the elephants and this and that and all these things. Because they're boasting things off of power. That's why even the Satanists in our country, they boast off of power. I have the power to do things in the spirit realm that I could never do before, that I didn't know existed. And God says, if you read through the word, it's all in there. Understand the spirit realm, understand the casting out demons, understand how it worked through dreams, how it worked through vision. All these things are happening. We think, I've never had another dream, that's crazy. And God said, no, I'm saying I will give you dreams, that you may know things coming for you and for others. I will know you, and man, that's crazy. I should do that about that person. How did I know? And God said, because I said I will give you words of knowledge that you would know things about others. These are things that God said we have to to start realizing that's so real around us is happening. That's why it can't be a thing where they're looking and they're dying to get to church so they can be strengthened and they're walking in their faith to know what's happening. And we debate. Well, the game come on at 11:30, I think, today. I don't know if I get, oh my goodness. And we struggle with, I know this, man, because I'm not talking for somebody who, I'm all up in, no, I'm knowing from the struggle with it. Ooh, Bible study on Wednesday? Oh my goodness, I could just be chilling for now. I'm already tired in a week. Well, I need a couple of extras of discovering God. I mean, that's just so much. Think about it and say, that's so much. God, like, bro, give me an extra hour out of the week so you can get your spirit life strengthened. It's things like that, but this is the society we in. So it's not just, oh man, you just messed. No, it's what this is how we've been built. And that's why with God is such a free will thing of, now you're mine, and you're still is mine, but now I have to give you a leeway with how much you want to get of me. How much do you want of me? It's funny, you get married, and you get leeway with how good you want to let your marriage be. And how it works with real covenant marriages, because a marriage is not a contract, it's a covenant. Covenant is something that's never broken. A real covenant marriage is that no matter what we stay together to the end, it doesn't end, it never ends. We're together for life, so man, gonna have to do what we got to do to make this work. Because when you come into marriage, you always feel like it's maybe a way out, then you're not gonna do what you need to do to make it work. You try to find ways to escape. Because you're always looking for a way out. Because I have in my mind, there's a way out of it. So even if I'm the one that try to get you to leave, you're still trying to find a way out of it. You're the runner. So at this point, it says, no, well, this is a covenant. And no matter what, we got to be together for the rest of our lives. If Jesus Christ come back and get us, we're going to find a way to make this work because we ain't about to be living there and being miserable. We're not about to be living a life where we're not communicating with each other. We're not about to be living a life where our children are seeing this mess around us. I want a good marriage. I want a life that's beautiful. But what does it take? Me surrendering. Me surrendering to God and saying, Lord, it's not about me. And the more I do that for her, and the more she does for me, the more we become one. Because God gave the example. Jesus Christ gave the example. What did he do when he came to the apostles and the disciples? He came, he grabbed their feet, took out his bucket, and he washed them.